Hello student, welcome to the class of Computer Network. I hope that you have watched my previous video related to computer networks. In today's lecture, we are going to study about topology. The network topology, it seems to be very much simple, but there are various MCQs which have been asked in the various competitive exams, and for that you need to study all this topic in detail. So let's get started. What do you understand by the word topology? Topology means geometric representation of how the computers are connected. Okay, the network topology is going to describe the method in which all the elements of the network are mapped. Okay, it is going to refer to the physical and logical layout of the network. That is how the computers are connected to one another. Then how it is important? We are required to see how the network are being connected. The network engineer needs to decide on the topology based on the requirement, based on the requirement of the system, based on the availability of the resources. The network administrator will decide how to connect the network. Okay, so if they are going to choose the most appropriate topology, it will ultimately increase the internal performance. So it will help to locate the fault in the system. If any of the fault emerges in the network topology, it will be much easier if they are going to use the topology that is according to the requirement, according to the requirement of the user, according to the availability of the resources. So deciding on the network topology before properly implementing it is very important from the network point of view. So we'll study about various types of topology in our lecture. I hope that you have understood about the word topology. Just remember, topology means how the computer are arranged, how the computer are arranged in the organization in a particular network. That is the topology. First is the point to point. What do you understand by point to point? There is a direct link between the two computers. There is a direct link between the two computers, then it is a point to point. So obviously if you see to the diagram, you can understand that it is very much simple to implement. You do not require any expensive hardware. You do not require any network operating system. You did not require any dedicated network technician for this purpose. Okay, so these are the advantage of this point to point network. And what will be the disadvantage? Based on the diagram, you can just see that it can be only implemented for the small areas. And as they are direct link, the folders and the files are not stored centrally. Besides, there is no security in the system. So this is the point to point. Next topology, which is widely used topology, now it is rarely used, but you can get most of the questions on this. What is a bus topology? Okay, in the bus topology, all the nodes are connected in a linear order. Okay, there will be a single cable and there will be the such kind of connection between the lines. So this is the bus topology. Now, you just have to remember that in bus topology, this is the main backbone cable. This is the main backbone cable and these are the drop down lines. Okay, these are the main backbone cables and these are the drop down lines. So, if this sender wants to send the data to this computer, okay, then the data will be sent and it will be sent to each and every system. Each and every system in the bus topology will get the message because there is no kind of filtering, but each and every system will see that the destination address is for this computer, so they will discard this message. Okay, so I hope that you have understood about the bus topology. In bus topology, all the nodes means the system, okay, are arranged in a linear order. And there is a single cable which is going to connect to those cable, and they are going to share the particular backbone cable. Every system is going to share the backbone cable. And if one system wants to send the message, it will be received by every system, but they will discard the packet because the destination address is for the particular system only. Okay, for example, if this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D, and A wants to send to D, so it will send the message. It will be received by B also, it will be received by C also, but B and C will discard the message. Okay, so what is the advantage? It is also efficient for this network which is small. Okay, it is easy to configure, it is much more cheaper. Okay, and expansion is very much simple. Over here it can be a terminator, or it can be a at the end there can be a terminator, or there can be a repeater. If they want to expand it, they will apply the repeater, and then they will connect the network. And what is the disadvantage over here? If the backbone fails, if this system fails, then complete network will be at halt. Okay, so if they are going to design for the large network, so it is not appropriate. Okay, and if you are going to keep on adding on the network, if you are going to add those repeater over here, and you are going to make the network large, ultimately it will make your system slow. Okay, so bus topology is also not widely used today. It is one of the old topology. So what question you can get on this bus topology? Okay, first is how many number of cables that will be required. Okay, how many number of cables will be required if you are going to configure a bus topology. Okay, so you can, from this diagram you can see that how many number of cables are required for every node. You require one drop down line. Okay, for every node you require one drop down line. So if there are n number of computers, you require n drop down lines, and there will be the one for the backbone. So the answer will be n plus 1. And for each number of nodes, if there is 5, 5 plus 1 for the backbone. Okay, so n plus 1. How many number of ports which will be required? Okay, so ports that will be required for connection of this from this backbone to this computer, you require one port. From this backbone to this computer, you require one port. Okay, so it will be 1 into n. Next is the reliability. Is this bus topology reliable? Okay, so as you can see that it is a multi-point system. That is, a single wire is used by the multiple devices. So if there is a some kind of fault in the backbone wire, okay, ultimately the system will fail. Okay, so you can say that is a single point failure. Cost, obviously it is much more cheaper. For n number of devices, you require only n plus 1 cable, so obviously it is cheaper. And security, as I have already told, that if message wants to be sent from A to D, it will be received by B, it will be received by C. Okay, so obviously it is not secure. Okay, I just hope that you have understood that in bus topology, how the network are been going to get connected in the linear order, and how many number of cables, how many number of ports, is it reliable, is it cost effective. So based on all these characteristics, the network engineer will decide whether they are going to implement the network in the bus topology. Next is the ring topology. So in the ring topology, all the system remains connected to other system on the either side in the ring manner. Okay, those who are going to have, and here the concept of token also comes into play. That is, those who are going to have the token will pass the message. The information in the ring topology is in the one direction, and in the dual ring topology, the information flows in both the direction. So what is the advantage of ring topology? All the system within the network get equal access to the resources, and if the traffic flows, the token passing technique increases the performance of the ring topology. It is manageable and it is easy to configure. And what is the disadvantages? It follows the unidirection, but in dual ring topology, it can follow the both the direction. Adding and removing of the nodes is difficult if the ring topology is active. Okay, so just remember these few points, and it is not feasible to scale. If you are going to keep on adding more number of devices, it is not feasible to the system. So number of cables that is required, that will be same, that is n plus 1. Okay, so you can see for each devices you require n cable and one for the ring. So number of cables will be n plus 1. Number of ports will be same, 1 into n. Is it going to have is it reliable? Then it is also going to have a single point failure because one is been shared by all the system. Is it cheaper? Yes, it is cheaper. And is it secure? No, it is not secure, as because the data is going to move in this direction. Data will be received by every system. Okay, so it is not secure. So we have studied about point to point, bus topology, and ring topology. Okay, I hope that you have understood about this three basic topology. In our next video, we will study about other topology. Thank you for watching. Kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel.